12 teams will battle it out through 16 weeks, but only one will have their name inscribed in the Show Me Your TD's championship trophy. Well, I'm your host, Chad Bradford, and this is Fantasy Fucking Football. Hello everyone and welcome to Fantasy Fucking Football. Draft day is in the books and the air is filled with the ripe stench of shit flowing from the mouths of managers from across the league. Joining me today from our East Coast studios are two special guests. We have Brad Chadford and Sean Flanders to help dissect the 2013 draft choices in our segment, Pass the Buck. Alright guys, welcome to the show. This is how it's going to work. You'll have 30 seconds to talk about a single team. When that 30 seconds is up, the buck will be passed to the next person who will have 30 seconds to talk about the next team, and so on until all 12 teams are covered. It's up to you to tell us who's hot, who's not, and who's to watch in 2013. Any questions? I didn't think so. Sean Flanders, we're going to put you on the board first. 30 seconds is on the clock, and your time starts now.
Let's talk now my danger zone. At the QB position, Coach Briscoe picked up Colin Kaepernick, who we all know has speed for days, but also a strong arm and accuracy. And at wideout, we have Dez Bryant. With his hands, it's no surprise he's one of Tony Romo's favorite targets, and in a PPR league, that could be big time. As a potential sleeper, we have Tyler Eifert. Cincinnati's first-round draft pick is going to have a strong start if he wants to take the tight end position away from seasoned veteran Jimmy Graham.
Brad Chadford.
All right. I'm going to start off with Woo-Woo-Bees I like him. Coach O'Brien made arguably the best decision of his entire football career by drafting Tom Brady. Brady, as we all know, is a fantasy point juggernaut with over 4,800 yards and 34 touchdowns last season. Woo-Woo-Bees' offense seems to be one of the best in the league with only one questionable player, Rashad Mendenhall. Mendenhall, who was out most of last season between suspensions and injuries, is looking to put the past behind him and focus on the future with the Arizona Cardinals.
Hegel McThrix. Now, Andrew Luck had an impressive rookie year. He threw for more than 4,300 yards and totaled 28 touchdowns, but he had 23 turnovers. He's got to do a better job of protecting that ball to please Coach Peach. Now, Demaryius Thomas also had a great season last year. He had 94 receptions and 10 touchdowns. That's great in a PPR league. He also had more points than any other team on Peach's current roster. But keep an eye out in the tight end position for some competition. We have a rookie from New England, Zach Sudfield, trying to get a starting job.
Natron definitely means business this year. The defending champs had a strong draft, picking up Aaron Rodgers, arguably one of the best QBs in the league and always a fantasy favorite. And then there's Andre Johnson. He had nearly 1,600 yards last year, and you know that Matt Schaub's going to be targeting him for touchdowns all year long. And at tight end, Gronk. Gronk's coming off rehab for a broken arm and back surgery and will not be available at the start of the season.
After missing more than half the draft last year, the Banquet Bullies came determined to make up for 2012's miscues by drafting Peyton Manning as a starting quarterback. Manning, who is known for being fantasy gold, threw for 4,600 yards and 37 touchdowns last season. Coach Waymeyer did, however, take plenty of risks by drafting several rookie running backs and wide receivers. Can the Banquet Bullies and their slew of rookie players be effective this year? That remains to be seen.
Sally Squad. And the number one pick goes to, who else but Adrian Peterson. But Peterson's coming off the best year of his career, and it's hard to imagine there's any room for improvement there. Either way, Sally Squad should be smiling all day. Demarco Murray. After a season riddled with injuries, Cowboys should be looking to Murray to remove some pressure off of their choking Romo. Romo is also listed as the starting quarterback and has no competition. The bench is filled with wide receivers and running backs. Keep in mind, he took home a ring last year with Natron Means Business.
Beast mode. That's what the Untamed Soldiers are looking for out of Marshawn Lynch. He had an amazing season last year with the Seattle Seahawks, and as another threat, Coach O'Brien also picked up QB Russell Wilson. This little guy proved himself both on the ground and through the air. And at receiver, we have Pierre Garçon. He spent most of the season injured, but still managed to come out on top of the Redskins receiving corps. And with RG3's knee in question, he's going to be getting targeted a whole lot more this year.
Let's hear it, Brad.
I Got Your TDs scooped up some big-name wide receivers in this year's draft and should put up some equally big numbers with Calvin Johnson leading the charge. Johnson, who led the NFL in yardage last season with 1,964 total receiving yards. That's the current NFL record. Her running back situation, however, leaves something to be desired, with MJD coming off a season-ending foot injury. Can MJD stay healthy and lead Coach Briscoe to a playoff run?
30-pack of brewskis. They picked up Big Red and Cam Newton, but Big Red's listed as the starter. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle their quarterback situation this year, seeing how they were fumbling over who to start last year. Now we can expect Arian Foster and Stephen Ridley to serve as a solid running back core for the Brewskis, but questions arise at the wide receiver position. Now Wes Welker and Danny Amendola are undoubtedly talented receivers and working with some of the best quarterbacks, but both being a little banged up and switching to new offenses, we'll have to see how they react this year.
That's what she said. One of 4 new teams this year picked up Matt Ryan at QB. With all his targets in their West Coast style offense, Matt should be a strong pickup. Jamal Charles had a foot strain but will be ready to go come week 1. Coming off a 1,500-yard season last year, he'll definitely be putting up some fantasy points. And with new QB Alex Smith, he could become a solid target out of the backfield. Marcus Colston says he's still not 100%, but he's expected to be ready come the start of the season.
Cut and punts looked strong during the draft, picking up some key players like Drew Brees and Tony Gonzalez for his starting lineup. Brees, who is always a solid pickup, has 5 straight seasons with at least 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Coach Kenny seemed to deviate from the average draft strategy, however, and scooped up the Bears' defense way before anybody else was thinking about drafting a D. The Bears' defense had 41 sacks, 24 interceptions, and 236 total points last season, leaving all other teams wondering, was it worth it?
Revis and Butt had picked up RG3, who was a fantasy monster in his rookie campaign. He had 27 touchdowns with 20 of them in the air, 7 on the ground. And if you want to talk injuries, well, they want to talk championships. They have Joe Flacco taking all second-team snaps and ready to start if necessary. Now we can expect Trent Richardson to be solid on the ground, while fellow running back Reggie Bush might get more points in the air. Solid PPR pickup. Another thing I want to mention, they need to start looking at the free agent pool because the league starts soon and right now Willis McGahee still has no job.
Alright, thanks for having me, Chad.
Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Alright, thanks for having me, Chad. Go fuck yourself, Brad.
Fuck you, Chad. Eat a dick, Flanders.
And thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next week where we go over the debut performances in 2013, including Super Bowl I rematch Natron Means Business vs. 30-pack of brewskis. That's all for Fantasy Fucking Football. I'm Chad Bradford, signing up.
It's certainly not natural, and it's definitely not ice. But somehow, it's natural ice. Nice.